Hey, evening, folks. We're just waiting for Jack Black. Okay, so in prep, I hope you've all got your race prep doc out and handy, because that's what we're going to be going through this evening. So maybe quickly open up your mails, the race prep comms in the last few weeks with the race prep doc, pull that out, open that up on page 1, and that's what we're going to be working through this evening.
Ja, nee, die 27ste, vol hierdie middag, so hierdie tyd, oor 2 weke na ry, het sal toe 6 uur. Jy sal dan al so 100 en, ek jy gedoen het dalk. Jy moeg raak wat jy
Jack, you with us yet? Jacques,
No, Jack's not here yet.
host, so he's going to have to screen share. Are you a co-host? Can you screen share?
You can also screen share if you need to, Alex. You're also a co-host.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried to call Jack, but he's not answering. So maybe he's just stuck in traffic or something.
No kombuis.
All right, Jack is joining at the moment.
No.
Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. Sorry I'm late. Cool. Emmanuel, are you still allowing people in?
Yes, I'm allowing and managing the waiting room, so you guys don't have to
Okay,
stress.
cool.
Thank
you.
But they're joining one at a time now, so I think you can start.
Okay,
We are
cool.
also
Thank
to YouTube. We're already live, so yeah, enjoy the session.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Cool. Alex, you on board?
Yeah.
Okay, cool stuff. Let's hit the road. Good evening, everybody. This is the pre-race briefing. So this is the last one of a series, and we really would like, to clarify a few things. And I know the nerves is, quite tense at this moment. It's 2 weeks before the race actually starts, and some of you are just want to jump in and start tomorrow because you've prepared for months and months and months, and now you're actually ready to do it. So yeah, good luck for the next couple of days. If you're wondering what to do, if you want to do something with yourselves, Alex and I are busy packing and running around like headless chickens. You're welcome to just come to my house, and we'll keep you busy. If you're really getting annoyed with yourself, or your missus or your husband wants to kick you out of the house. So yeah, let's start. So today's session, we're going to cover quite a few things. I just want to go to, is my screen shared? I don't think so. Alex, is my screen shared?
Not yet.
Okay, let me just share it. There we go. I hope it's shared now. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what we're going to cover today, and this is by no means what we're going to cover. There might be more stuff that Alex and I will add, and if you've got questions, we can answer it. But we're just going to look at the sponsors, and that's, our business cannot operate without sponsors, and we publicly want to just say thank you to them, and we'll keep on doing it. The rider stats I've shared with you, but what I haven't shared with you is just the 2024 stats, and it's always quite interesting. I love stats and like looking at this, and maybe you find this interesting. We're going to, Alex is going to go into detail around the route. I'll actually show it on the screen, and we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about race rules and specifically penalties around certain sections. We're going to highlight and just re-emphasize, family, friends, photography, people on the route for you, what is allowed and not allowed. We're going to talk about the race villages and water points. We did discuss this, but what we're going to discuss is now we know what the sponsors are giving, and we're going to tell you what you can expect and not to expect. The navigation and the GPX file, that's actually falling, together with the route and the route changes. So we'll discuss it there. I'm going to give you 3 slides, just the last final tips and tricks, with a week to go. And then we're just going to ask the Equipe team members just to once, we've done the, everything exactly the same, just a few nuances where things are going to be slightly different. And that's going to be specifically for the Equipe team. So yeah, let me just jump into it. I'll share 1 or 2 slides, and then I'll hand over to Alex for the route changes, and I'll show the route on the screen. So yeah, I mean, if we don't get excited about, the small little things, I mean, why would we be here? So this is just to show you, the number board. So I love to share this kind of things because hopefully it makes you excited. Your name is on the thing, your number, whatever it might be, the campaign badge is this year, the dragon. And this is just for Equipe and the Munga teams. I just took crappy photos, so forgive me, it looks better in real person. And this is the kind of stuff that Minuteman is doing it for us. So thanks, Jacques and Francie and the team. It's just awesome stuff that you get. The sign-in sheets and everything else has already been done. And your luggage tags, the stickers, it comes in envelopes, and your rank and your number and everything is on there. So yeah, we're very excited. It's in full swing, and we're getting close to the real deed in a couple of weeks. So as I said, quickly, thank you to our sponsors, Tanola Waste, Malusi and his team. They've been very supportive of us for this, half year that they've been on board, and we cannot do it without them. Generate and Plant Hire helps us with the fuel, and it's just awesome, partner Tony and his team. Andrew, the vet from Klein Karoo Toyota, they're helping us with a bakkie and, with another 4 vehicles whilst we're doing it, because if we don't have that vehicles, we don't have sweet vehicles, and we don't have support. Then obviously Track, Vicky and her team, Hannes and John-Luc, we're building a relationship, and it's great to have Track on board. Then, further EP Digital, they are media partners. They do, you know, all our sound. They do, you know, emceeing at the event, the music, the video recordings, and, you know, en route photography. So yeah, Emmanuel and Jacques, thank you very much. Jacques and Francie, as I said, from Minuteman Press, they are, you know, awesome in what they're doing for us. Johan Fourie and Clinton from Doolof, yes, these guys are, you know, giving us wines, and all your schmucks will be on a bottle of wine at the end when you're finished. It's a nice thing to have. I mean, I don't think I'll ever drink mine because it's just special for me. Now I'm at Sport with Richard and the team, you know, great people, and without the nutrition, and it costs a lot of money. So yeah, thank you to them. And then, you know, the Middleburg focus, just unbelievable. Junior from Nashua, Jaap Beyers and his team from Pioneer, you know, they're just supporters of us, and we're very thankful of it. You know, Renewed Finance Insurance, they're the guys that does bicycle insurance, and you know, Freddie and the team is just really not helping us, you know, with prize money, but they also help with a lot of other stuff. Vermont Sales, which most of you probably don't know, but they are the guys that helps us, you know, with the tracking devices to keeping them live with batteries and all those wonderful things, and, you know, also prizes and being a long-standing partner to us. So yeah, Barry and the guys are really fantastic. You know, Fluxmans gives us a power banks that you're going to get 10,000 milliamperes at the start. And Kevin and the Fluxmans team, you know, we're very grateful. This year we got a alcohol breathalyzers. They do keto readers as well as, you know, alcohol breathalyzers. So they're sponsoring the shirts for us, and also the King of the Mountain. So that section, but it's actually called Blaubank. We all call it Boeswarmut, but that 3 kilometer King of the Mountain, you know, there's prize money, 2,000 rand for the fastest lady and 2,000 for the fastest men, and obviously the slowest person also get $1,000. So you can win either way. Osprey is helping us.
It's called the Ice Sober Summit this year.
Yeah, Ice Sober Summit. That's correct. You won't. I'm sure you'll be sober when you go up there. But anyway, Osprey is helping us with the caps, the cascade caps and lake shoes. I'm sure most of the people, you know, support Kim and the team as well. So yeah, I'm not going to go through every single one of these guys, but, you know, these are, you know, really partners that's been with us, you know, for a long time, and new ones, and the likes of Hannele with Passion for Wholeness, Rudy Projects, Garmin, Nova Chocolate, On Shoes. And I don't want to, you know, leave anybody out, but these are really partners that in whatever way, you know, is helping us this year. So thank you to all our sponsors. And yeah, without this, we just cannot have, you know, an event. So yeah, and I think, you know, thank you for you as riders for this year supporting us again. We've got a massive field this year, and we can't, you know, host the event without you. And also thank you to your family and friends, and for their support for you, because I mean, you know, did a lot of you know, hard training away from home and stuff, and that's unfortunately the life of endurance riders. You know, we also have a lot of riders and that you know, they don't ride and they've got medical issues, like, you know, Cordray that is running a Race Village 5 for us. You know, they become volunteers. Marcus France, you know, broke a collarbone in Northwest, or actually his elbow. And, you know, those guys, he's a sweeper and volunteering to help us. And all the farmers and lodge owners and, you know, everybody that's assisting us, you know, so, you know, graciously behind the scenes. We're just so, you know, thankful of you. And then, you know, before I start the rest of the presentation, you know, my wife actually said it at a presentation we did this weekend, is, you know, we basically wish that, you know, whatever your goal is, if it's realistic or unrealistic, but, you know, at the end of the day, that you achieve your goal, and you will very much know what that is, and the reason why you're riding, and what is your passion, and what is your journey, and what is your story of why you're riding the Munga this year. So we hope that, you know, you will basically achieve that goal. I went through this stats, and we'll actually discuss this in the main briefing again. But what I thought of just changing a little bit, you know, showing some stats to you guys is, you know, in the last 9 years, we had 1,170 finishes, you know, of which 10% was ladies. And of that, 279, was the single event finishes, as you can see, there. And then, the other 450 finishes, that's basically 450 people that had multiple finishes. But what I want to show you here is actually the more interesting stats. So if we look at the 232 riders, 59% is people that might have started the Munga but hasn't finished the Munga, or that has not ridden the Munga in any way or form. There's 134 out of the 228 that is basically newbies. People that's finished one Munga is 15%, two Mungas is 10%, three Mungas are 6%, and when you see how quickly it goes down, four Mungas is 3%, five Mungas 3%, and then 6, 7, 8, 9. You can see, it's 0.4, 0.9, and 0.4, which is obviously 111, which is Clinton. So this is just to give you an idea of who you're matching up to and who you're riding with this year. And I just thought it's quite a stat to show you. Again, I'm not going to go through that slide, but what is the demographics of the countries people representing? And this is the 248 riders, including, the Equipe guys, one rider, Mr. Sean Taylor from Botswana. So Sean, the snake catcher. We've got somebody from Costa Rica, Frank from Germany, from Italy, what's it, Yaki or Saki or from Japan, Luxembourg, Namibia, they might have been just part of the South Africans. Caroline from Norway, Marco Martins from Portugal, one person from UK, and 3 from the USA. So yeah, it's becoming more and more overseas people, and if it grows, it's just good for the event. I did this just out of curiosity to see where the people are coming from out of provinces, and it's always used to be much more from Gauteng. So thank you, Western Cape or Cape Townians, mountain people. Thank you for increasing your numbers so significantly. 61 people from the Western Cape, 11 from KZN, 11 from Free State, 4 from the Eastern Cape, 19 from Mpumalanga, and that's thankful to Andre Brandmiller and Jaal Beyers, and also the care riders that's joining us every year from the Northern Cape. We've got 3, Limpopo, Philip Potgieter and his crowd from Limpopo, and Johan Potgieter from Northwest, and Koenraad and all the other guys that joins us from Klerksdorp, Potch, etc. So yeah, this is just to give you an idea from where people are coming, across the country from. And this was also interesting stats. If we just look at the age from the riders, and I just categorized it between 20 to 29, 30 to 39, etc. And the big portion is men and women are between the 40 to 60 type of category. The average age of the field this year is 49.5. Last year it was actually in the 50s, so we're getting younger. The average age for men is 49.7. With all those youngsters, ladies coming in here between 30 and 39, the ladies' age has actually gone down to 48.2. So yeah, you can, whatever your age is, you can, if you're Danny or Colin Wells, that's 70, and Danny 69, you can see where you fit in, Danny and Colin. So yeah, that's just the average age of the riders that's joining us. And then just from a ranking perspective, I thought this is also cool to show the reason why these people numbers are in black. They actually get their number boards are actually black, the Munga sign, because they originally joined, in the first year of 2015. Clinton had to do it because he's obviously done every single one of them. But Clinton has done 9 Mungas. He's a brigadier. Nikki and Pete has done 7. Majors. Boetie is on 6, all by himself. And then there's quite a bit of Lutz, Bertie Lawrence, Peter de Pre, Fani van Zyl, James Strapshaw. With cancer, he's done most of them. So amazing person, James. Chris and Gav Horton is back for their 6. So yeah. And then the second lady, Lane Beitel, very fit this year and in very good shape to compete for the podium, I think. and then just the normal steelwards, Jürgen Dreyer, Jochie, Koos Eso, Mashabela, Piet van der Linde, Jaco Kamfer, and Trevor Case are all back for their fifth. So yeah, we're very excited about these people getting to 10 with Clinton as quickly as possible. But this is the highest ranking people, and I just thought I'd take a snippet of. So yeah, I think what we want to do is, this is for argument's sake just a view of the distance card. So you will get these stickers and all these kind of wonderful things. So I'm going to hand over to Alex to talk about the changes of a route. And Alex, while you're talking, what I will do is I'll just follow on the route itself.
Okay. Look, every year there's a water point that shifts because of a farmer whose daughter's got married or they're not there, and life in the Karoo changes.
Can you see the screen, Alex? This right with
Yes.
GPS. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So that's part and parcel of the Munga route every year. There'll always be a change somewhere. What we've tried to do in the last sort of 2-3 years is keep the distance relatively consistent, and because there were some big swings, obviously with Bainscliff Pass under construction for 2 years, we had to route around, and that was a significant detour. So you'll see the route this year is a couple of kilometers shorter than last year, I think, and it's more or less the same. The one thing we are bringing back, although it only was out last year, that's the Razzle Dazzle after Fraserburg. And it was taken out last year just simply because of that need to try and bring consistency into the distance. And, we had to route around the Steenkoorberg when we lost that pass after water point 9. So, yeah, the last sort of 3-4 years, we've just been wrestling with those distances. Anyway, let's start at the beginning. You'll know that the very first sort of 2-3 kilometers every year changes, and don't take it as gospel when you get your GPX file. We will have a neutral zone, and that's because that area on the southwestern side of Bloem now, about a kilometer from the Windmill Hotel, has just become a dog show in terms of junk and rubbish. Depending on how much rain they've had, you'll see the heat map there, shows the old routes just to the right slightly. Anyway, depending on how much rain they've had, some of those sewage pipes just go crazy. And so those first 3 kilometers have now become a standard neutral zone, pretty much where we head through that green patch, and then we hit the back of the track. Just before the 4K mark is where our ambulance will pull off and the neutral zone ends. So, yeah, I know a lot of you guys like to get there a couple of days before the race and do a shakedown ride. And there's always complaints about the rubbish and the sewage there. So don't worry about that. We'll suss it out on the Monday before, or we're going down the weekend before. And then we'll make a call on the day, and our neutral vehicle will just follow you guys out to get you safely and cleanly to that 3.5 kilometer mark. The route is then pretty much the same all the way to water point 1. Nothing has changed there. From water point 1 all the way through Steenmakar, water point 2, that's all exactly the same. The section before Race Village 1 and Van der Kloof Dam, you'll know last year we did a detour, we lost a farm. The section that had the worst aardvark holes, but there's still a lot of them over there. So obviously that piece kind of between the 200 kilometer mark and sort of the 225 kilometer mark is where you want to pay attention. In fact, most guys say, look, if you get into water point 2 in the dark, just pay attention from there until you get to RV1. That area is relatively riddled with aardvark holes. But otherwise, pretty consistent. The route is the same to RV1.
Yeah,
RV1,
Alex, if I can maybe just add there. So nothing, aardvark holes for Alex, the same, and it's nothing and blah, 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 blah. So what I just want to add to what Alex has said there is just the aardvark holes are still there, and they're big. And this section from, 200 and, from that, just after that 200, basically from 200 to 225 k's. You know, there's hardvarkals, and you have to be really careful and don't, you know, that's where you need to be awake. And there's so many people that fall into those hardvarkals. So, you know, it's not marked. We can't mark it, but, you know, just be careful. And it's on both sides of the road. So just watch out for that. Sorry, Alex.
Yeah, it's, you know, day one, people underestimate. I mean, it's a long day. It's, you know, it's over 230 kilometers now. So just, you know, just take it easy. The section from there is pretty much the same to water point 3. Keep your eyes out for the deep freeze in the middle of nowhere. It's not a hallucination. It may or may not be there. And that won't depend on your mental state. It'll depend on how motivated the farmer is in the area. Water point 4 is changed.
It's actually
again.
just there. It's on
Yeah.
285 kilometers is where the deep freezer are, in the middle of the road.
Correct. That's a nice battlefield you go through there after that deep freeze if you're there in the day. Yeah, so water point 3 is the same. Then you head across, you cross that railway line. Don't miss that little sneaky left turn after the railway line over there. A lot of guys miss that and head north towards Priska, Stranenberg.
Alex, your voice is just breaking up, Alex. Alex, is your camera
Yeah.
off? Because you're breaking up a bit, eh?
Yeah, my camera is off, eh? How's that?
Okay. Yeah, it's
So
all the thing is breaking up the whole time, your voice. So I don't know what's going on.
Gosh, I'm not sure. I'm showing full signal.
No, but just carry on. We'll stop you if it
Okay.
doesn't work.
So water point 4 has changed again. Water point 4, we've used 3 farms now over the last few years for various reasons. So we're now at Ben Kreiling's farm. That was the water point 2 years ago. It's a little bit of a shorter leg from 3, a little bit of a longer leg up to RV2. So that's pretty much the same. The route is slightly different after that, just because of the fact that we've changed water points. So, you know, those who've got last year's route fresh in your mind, remember, just follow your GPS. And then down to RV2, those, we'll talk a little bit about the razzle dazzles. There's a 6-hour penalty if you miss the 4 sections that are compulsory. And 3 of the sections have to do with safety. We're obsessed about your safety. The reason we can't send you back if you miss it and you carry on the tar road is that we're then exposing you to the very hazard we're trying to protect you from, and that's just dumb. So if we see, and we have a couple of measures in place that will trigger some red flags, unless you turn your tracker off, and then that's a red flag anyway. You're going to get a 6-hour penalty, and you're going to sit in Race Village 2, and maybe you'll be in a backpacker room without an aircon, and you're going to be grumpy. So don't miss that razzle dazzle. Hang on, Jacques, you need to go back. You're at,
Sorry, I'm at the wrong one. Yeah. Sorry.
You're at 3. You need to go to 2.
Yeah, yeah, sorry.
So this is a little bit of a sneaky
there
one
it is.
because it's about a kilometer after you turn onto the tar road. You'll turn off and you're following a railway access road that's right next to the tar road initially. You can see in the old days we followed a deeper service road, but we've lost access to that. So now we're literally on the railway servitude road, and it's not that bad. I mean, there's, you know, just at the start of it where the hand is now, pay attention, that gate may or may not be closed. It may or may not be open or unlocked. There's the fence to the right of it has been completely destroyed, so you can walk around that fence to get onto the track. And then halfway down the track, it crosses the railway track onto the other side, and then it scoots into, you know, the sort of beginning of town into Bridgetown. So,
but Alex, sorry, you broke up a bit there. So just to confirm, that first section, that 2.5 k's, until you get off here, you are for about 2 kilometers on the tar road before you get onto the servitude road, eh?
yeah, it's less. It's about it's not quite 2 k's, but
Okay.
you'll see a big picnic sort of turn off area there.
There.
And it's just watch your GPX, and then you'll jump onto that service
Yeah,
track.
that's exactly there.
Yeah. And then you follow that service track, and then about halfway along that, the track crosses the railway line, and then you parallel on the other side of the railway line. And then also just bear in mind, as you approach town and you go under that bridge, it gets a bit scratchy. Scratchy, I mean, a lot of people throw rubbish off that overpass. There's sometimes glass around there. We've never heard of someone bust a tire or anything, but just pay attention coming into that town, especially if you're coming in there at dark. You can zoom up to the town there, Jacques. All right, so that section is pretty much the same. Leaving RV2, the section to Waterpoint 5 is all the same. That one of my favorite pieces past the Smart Syndicate Dam. Some of the gates will be open. We try and get them all open, but you must just understand the nature of Karoo farming. Stuff changes the day before, and sometimes we can't do anything about it. We've had years where the farmer hasn't been able to get to a gate to unlock it, and you have to carry your bike over that gate. We thought about changing the rules, that one of the requirements was that you could lift your bike over a 1 meter, 1.2 meter sheep gate. And if you can't enter the race. But anyway, by and large, we generally get most of it right, but just understand there's the nature of the beast. Those gates can't stay open. Sometimes farmers just can't get to them in time. Waterpoint 5 is in the same place. Waterpoint 6 is more or less at the same place, but it's across the road. So it's a little farm before, but you'll see our banners. So Jacques, if you zoom into Waterpoint 6, Pompoenpoort, it's still at the Pompoenpoort T junction. But you don't turn right and then left into
Just
the
say again, Alex, which water point?
6, Pompoenpoort.
Which one?
6.
Okay. Okay, there.
So, if you've done this route many times and you're there in the middle of the night, you might go straight past this and go to the old Pompoenpoort. After 9 years, we finally lost the old Pompoenpoort, and we're now using the neighboring farm. You'll see there's the purple line to the old one, but we're going in there now, just before the junction. So that's pretty much the same. The route to RV3 is the same. You can scroll out, and that brings us to the famous Razzle Dazzle, the Twilight Zone, where riders have hiked their bikes into the mountains, where I've spent hours on the phone instructing riders how to use their Apple Compass app and walk north. And there you can see Razzle Dazzle. 6-hour penalty if you miss this. If you're super nervous, make sure you're there with someone else so you can both get lost together. It's much better for the psyche and your comfort. How tricky it is depends on how familiar you are with your device and scrolling in and out. But you'll see again, that's it's a piece of tar that we try and avoid, and it's now become sort of institutionalized. So it is what it is. We don't cross that dam anymore at the end because that varies from season to season with the rains. This year, actually, it seems to be dry again. But anyway, you get the last kilometer on tar. Note, unless you're an Equipe team, your race village is not in the town of Loxton. It's at Jakkalstans. The Equipe guys will tell you separately the 3 race villages initially have a different RV. But we've had riders get into Loxton and ride around for an hour or two trying to find the race village. It's 6 k's out of town at Jakkalstans. You can see it over there. Same routing, same race village. The same route to Waterpoint 7. You can scroll out there, Jacques. The same all the way to Fraserburg. The same all the way to Razzle Dazzle. So let's go to that Razzle Dazzle after Fraserburg. That's in.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
yeah,
That's
you're going to get 6 hours if you miss this. If you're there in the day, it's spectacular. If you're there in the night, the stars are spectacular. And it's about 30 odd kilometers. No, there are no boards or notices, Lauren. Let me just read that. You are 100% reliant on your GPS, which should tell you to turn left. We have on occasion put a small banner at the start of the Loxton Razzle Dazzle, but Some guys don't see them. Sometimes they get nicked. Sometimes the wind blows them over. The bottom line is you've got to just be aware now that you are heading for that, and your Garmin should red flag you if you've got a turn warning. So it's your responsibility to get those lefts. And they're
Yeah,
all
Alex, maybe if I can just add to that. So when you get to specifically the razzle dazzle areas, it is more relevant to zoom into, you know, to 20, 30, 50 meters. So when you zoom in specifically, if I refer to this Fraserburg section or to, you know, the Oberg, just before Oberg, or even, you know, to the Loxton section, if the more you zoom in, the better you will see the track. Don't follow the lefts and the rights, you know, ignore the noise around it and just follow your device, the line that is actually on it. If you think you're going in the wrong direction, zoom a little bit out and see where you are and where the line is going. But the best tip I can give you is to zoom in, because that you will see every single track that is going off, you know, and a breadcrumb is actually even better. Okay, thanks, Alex.
Yeah, look, I mean, the distances of these razzle dazzles are relatively similar in and out of towns. You should know 12 odd kilometers outside of Fraserburg, you've got a sneaky left. Don't miss it. Okay. Water Point 8 is back at
Yeah,
Celery
and sorry, Alex, I want to chip in here again. So the reason why people miss it is you put your Garmin in sleep mode, you know, and then you will be penalized. So what happens is, you know, it comes on, but you a little bit off at that stage, or you're sleeping a bit on your bike and you don't see the left turn. So if that is happening, you know, you're going to sit at Water Point 8 for 6 hours. So and sit out your penalty there. So, you know, our advice is not to put it on sleep mode. Yes, we understand that, you know, it's for battery saver mode, etc. But just be aware, if it goes into sleep mode and you miss the turn, you will be penalized.
The razzle dazzle after Fraserburg is very rocky. If you've got skinny tires, be very circumspect and just take it easy. And it's a short section of it. You know, the first sort of 12, 13 kilometers in are actually great roads. I personally rode it now on the Munga tour, that section, with a couple of guys. And yeah, I mean, the first 12, 13 kilometers are fantastic road. And then you've got a few kilometers of that sort of slowly descending rocky stuff, and then it's good roads again, and then the last kind of 3 kilometers are rocky stuff as well. Not big drops or anything, just really blocky rocky. So just be circumspect with your wheels. Water Point 8 back at Celery-Fontaine, which is exciting. Same up to RV4. We're at the Sutherland Hotel, which is exciting. Okay, so same way out of Sutherland across Canarisfontein Farm, the shortcut to the top of Oberg. Oberg is actually looking in pretty good shape, to be honest. We rode it now on the tour about a month ago, 3 weeks ago, and it's looking in great shape. So, some of the better shape it's been in the last sort of 4 or 5 years. But again, just take it easy. And I know some guys will say, no, that was on the ride, will say, no, it was horrendous. Well, no, it's relative compared to the last few years. Actually, it's pretty good shape. Just take it easy. One change now we've done is, Water Point 9 has become problematic for us over the last couple of years. And the section, you can just zoom out there, Jacques, the section from the bottom of Oberg through the Tankwa is quite brutal. So we've decided to make both Potstols official water points. In other words, Water Point 9 has now moved to the Dadur Potstol, and Water Point 10 is still the Tankwa Potstol. Those are relatively close together, 40 kilometers. But it just adds another dimension in terms of optionality. So what we've done is we've put a JoJo where Water Point 9 was last year, and that's at the bottom of Oberg Pass. So now when you get to that same place that Water Point 9 was, it's an old abandoned farmhouse in the middle of absolutely nowhere. All you're going to find there is a JoJo with water, because the reservoirs in the Tankwa have no water. And then Water Point 9 is at the Dadur Potstol. You've got the ability to...
Alex, so that JoJo tank, Alex, so
Yeah.
that JoJo tank is going to be on that front stoop of that house. So it's an abandoned house So we've got to put a flag here. So if you go through at night, but you have to, you know, look at your narratives on your Garmin. But that JoJo tank is physically going to be on that stoop. And I think, Alex, if I can make just one additional thing. So if you go, the people that's done this section a long time ago, so if you come down Oberg Pass all the way, then you get to a little T-junction here. We used to turn left here and then just go around the corner here to Tankwa River Lodge. So just the people that's done this route at this T-junction where the road split is actually where you go onto the new section that we did last year as well. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, just follow your GPSs if all else fails. So just bear in mind now that it's a long section from the official Sutherland to Dardour, the next place you can get food, but you've got at least JoJo water, especially, and that'll be relevant to the guys in the day. You know, if you're leaving Oberg in the nighttime, you won't be filling up at Dardour because the Tankwa, you know, will always be reasonably cool at night. So Dardour and the Tankwa Potsdal obviously will be equipped with mattresses. You can get some sleep there if you want. Those two sections, they're about 40 kilometers apart, water point 9 and water point 10. The same route out of the Tankwa down into the Tankwa, into the Karoo Poort. You know, if you're lucky, you can pick up water at that farmhouse. If you just scroll in there to the bottom of the Isober summit. So, just scroll a little bit. Yeah, so somewhere around there will be a whole sort of stand of workers and family that want to cheer. They've been seeing riders pass there for 10 years now, and they put stuff out.
It's at the start. It's at this crossing here.
Yeah, they intermittently put stuff out, some years unofficially, some years we see it, some years we don't. You know, we've really got nothing to do with them, but they actually asked us this year if we mind if they just set up something and cheer the riders on, knowing it's 10 years. So I don't suspect that'll be there during the nighttime, but you know, if you're there in the daytime, you might be fortunate to have someone cheering you up. So thanks to alcohol breathalyzers, there's now the King of the Mountain prize money for the Isober Summit. We're thinking up a name for the sloshed second, who doesn't, the slowest rider who gets the prize for being the slowest up there. 3Ks, but it is super steep at the end. And then you hit that tar section. We've gone back to Matroosburg for Race Village 5. So what that means is that section now from 4 to 5 is shorter, but obviously the section from 5 to the end is longer. Take note that you don't miss the left turn into Matroosburg, because then you're going to, especially at night, you're going to struggle for something to eat. Pay attention. And after the RV, where that red and white A's, that's quite a tricky section to get out of the Matroosburg Nature Reserve back onto the tar road. Then you're on the tar road at 104.8.
Just wait quickly. So once you get out of this hall, you know, a lot of people, as when we did the tour, took this road, you know, where the road split. And what was actually interesting, you know, this vineyards here, there's wired fence or like top wire, you know, that's fenced on the top. So, but you ride through this. So it actually feels weird because this is almost not a road. You're actually going straight through the vineyard. So it is quite tricky, just that section back to the tar road again. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, and remember when you're in little iffy lefts and rights like this through the orchards, to stop and look at your device and try and make a call is very tricky because your device stops routing. You actually need to pedal in some direction. So pick one of the channels, start pedaling, and it'll tell you straight away whether you're right or wrong. When you're back on that tar road, take note that end of the hill there at 106.0 kilometers, you're tearing down at about 60 k's an hour and there's a sneaky left. Miss this and it's a 6-hour penalty, because the tar road you intersect is a dangerous tar road that goes into series. You have to take that left at the end of that downhill, and that brings you across farmlands. It's undulating stuff. It's super easy. There it is there, just short of 106.0 kilometers. Remember, you might not be on that because your device is going to read slightly differently. But when you're doing 60 k's an hour down that super steep tar road, know at that final bend you need to take a left, and it's a sharp left.
Yeah, and just to emphasize this, when we did the tour, about 60% of the guys did not focus and just went straight here. So number one, this is a critical thing where you will get a penalty because you go, it's a dangerous road, and depending what time you go through there, Friday or Saturday night, it might be chaos there. So you will get a penalty there.
Yeah, and also, for the newcomers, just get your head around the fact that that managing your navigation and your device optics is part of Munga discipline. You have to get it right. It's not our responsibility, it's your responsibility. So the other change, obviously, we're no longer in this a race village in series. So series, will be the last place that you can buy water. But the route out of there is the same. If it's a super hot day, when you get to the bottom of Bainskloof is plenty fresh water. And that's just going back to series. So just having a look at series there.
So in series, just to add, there's a spa there, but during the night, there's a 24-hour Shell garage and engine garage opposite each other. So you can always get a cold drink for the last 46 k's to Bainskloof. And yeah, Bainskloof.
And then, so just out of series, Mitchell's Pass, if you're there on a Friday, and then you'll be the front guys on a Friday, or even a Saturday. The Friday afternoon, the front guys, it sometimes gets Mitchell's Pass is busy, but they got a nice shoulder. The start of Bainskloof Pass, this is just a backup. We'll mention it in race briefing. There is always a chance that some truck crosses the bridge onto Bainskloof and gets stuck, and they close Bainskloof. It's a possibility. It's happened a couple of times over the last few years. Thankfully, not during race. Our advice is, now what happens is the truck gets stuck there. They close traffic for a day or two while they try and figure out how to get it. Our advice is just go past the barrier and ride. Keep riding. You'll be able to almost certainly maneuver past the truck. If there's police and they physically stop you, you've got a couple of options. You can reroute via Niverkloof and Tilbach to your right around, which is going to take about 3 hours longer. Or you can pull into Bergsig and stop, and we will credit your race plus an hour and a half. It's not ideal, but it's an absolute last minute if they will not let you on Bainskloof because some clown has ridden his truck into the cliff. But we'll mention that in race briefing. So yeah, hopefully no one does that. They've got those chains that prevent trucks, but we find over the last couple of years with the toll gates rising so much that more and more of these trucks are taking chances. And the fact is Bainskloof has now been retarred. They've widened it slightly and it's magnificent. There've been a couple more guys taking chances. So that's a backup just in case. So you still finish your race, although you obviously wouldn't get to Doorlof. If you've got an hour and a half from the end and you can't go around Niverkloof, you don't have a choice, we'll credit you that time and give you a medal. But yeah, let's hope it doesn't come to that. Okay, and then it's exactly the same route in the back of Doorlof, and the last 50 meters, in fact, the last 20 meters are the steepest part of the 1,129 kilometers.
Just before that, so when you come down the tar road, when you turn into Doorlof, this is a tar road and it looks like a picnic area, but it's on this hairpin. And there's quite a few people that go all the way down into Wellington, and it's a much longer way and it's not a pleasant ride. So just, go, and it's also, look at this downhill here. So it's a serious downhill and it's on this hairpin. And there will be a flag up, but just watch, don't miss it.
Good. Okay, that's the route.
So I think just one other thing, Alex, is so obviously Fraserburg, we show for Fraserburg in the race briefing. We will, but that's not an official support station. Neither is Ceres. You can, there's shops and stuff that you can buy from, and there's even the total garage is just people that is, want to be part of a race. It's going to be 24 hours open. They do milkshakes and hot dogs and sandwiches and burgers, the chips, all those kind of things. And you can actually phone them and pre-order as soon as you get a signal about 5 days or 5 kilometers from the tower. You'll get reception. It will just feel like 5 days until you get there, but they'll actually make the food for you, etc. Okay, thanks, Alex. Okay, what's next? Okay, so just another thing. So we've actually done the cue sheets on the route, and we'll send out the route tomorrow, whenever Alex and I will decide. But this is a nice thing, the course points, and it just shows you, as you're riding, how far you are from a point. And if you go past water point one will disappear, and it will show you, what's the distance to water point 2, etc., etc. So those are things that we'll share the routes with, the cue sheets with you. We will have Garmin at the start, and Francois and his team will help. Please don't ask me or Alex to load the files, during the registration. It ain't going to happen. We just don't have the time to do that. If you want to, have assistance on a file, we maybe can help you on the Monday, but please don't ask us on Wednesday morning either, because we're not going to help you. Okay. You can look at Windy. I mean, you can even download the route on Windy on a PC. You can't do it on your phone, but it's quite lekker, because you can go through and actually see, how the winds are changing, etc. So that's just something that I wanted to share with you. The distance cards we'll hand out at the race briefing. So race rules, Alex, anything you want to share there?
Look, the key thing is that you're just not allowed anyone on the route. And what's become problematic is, over the years, we obviously can't stop people going into the towns, and we've tried to sort of convey this idea that we understand that your family want to see you and cheer you on, but it needs to. And in the old days, we kind of said that they could offer spiritual and sort of emotional, psychological support. The problem is that caused real problems. And when COVID came in, that was sort of the hard line, because some of the water points said, look, no one's actually allowed into the areas. So all of those carry a 6-hour penalty right up if we connect you with someone on the route anywhere, whether it's in a public town, and a second connection is almost certainly going to lead to a DQ, unless there's some really compelling reason why. So the tar roads aren't that far from the route. Tell your family rather to just tour the tar roads. They're relatively close. If something happens and you pull out and you need to be repatriated, you've got a perfect way to get out of there. Or they must just wait for you at the finish line, and they'll the absence will be much sweeter. So please, guys, we know this. We get the idea to be encouraged and motivated by those that that care for you, but it's an absolutely not negotiable. And yeah, we're going to play hardball where we can.
Okay. And I think just to add to that, Alex, is what did I want to say about so drafting is obviously allowed, as we've changed that over the last couple of years. And the rest of the race rules, there's a link in the document, so in the race briefing document, and if you've got any questions, you can ask us. But just from a moral or emotional perspective, we've seen that people actually stop when they see their families, instead of being actually a positive, it actually becomes a negative. So yeah, leave that alone, and I think it's really critical. Next point, Alex, chip in if you want to. I think just as far as the water point and race villages, as we said, the race villages, gets a little bit bigger, more food, like a meal. It doesn't say you're not getting, food at the water points, but it's not, a home-cooked big plate of lasagna. It's maybe a small portion of lasagna, sandwiches, little pastries, boeries, or whatever the case might be. So, the slogan of this race is still the toughest race on earth. So, be courteous to the farmers and volunteers. They they're doing you a favor, they're doing us a favor, and we just want to emphasize that. You will get your money's worth. That's above the bottom line. So just as far as nutrition is concerned, we received the nutrition from Namit Sport. We will have more than enough hydro fits. But unfortunately, a lot of people ask us about the bars. We only received, 250 bars. So we will put the bars into your goodie bag. If you want to take any more bars from, either Namit Sport or whatever your preference is, you'll have to load it up and carry it with yourself, or buy it in the little towns that you go through if you want a snacker or chocolate or whatever case might be. All the race villages and water points, say to us, oh, the riders want more bum cream and lube. Guys, we only put out, so much bum cream. Everybody use different bum cream. We're not there to, lube your ass. You're supposed to do that yourself. So, we are giving you the Enduro Balm that Sean is supplying us. So you will get sachets at the beginning, and you will get a tube. But whatever else you need to take, it's a tube or two. You are responsible. Do not expect to get bum cream at the water points and race villages. There ain't going to be any. Okay. The same with lube. We've got enough lube that goes to all the water points. But you know what? We're a big field, and I always carried my own. So I don't think it's it's crazy just to take your own loop and loop your chain whenever necessary. Okay.
Jacques, just quickly on the bars, because this question was asked a couple of times, and Richard from NAMED actually said there would be at the water points. Nonetheless, we've received the stock, and obviously they've had a shift in certain things. So there are no bars at the water points, and that's not our call. But if you read our addendum doc, you'll understand why bars are pretty useless at water points anyway. But that's an aside. So just know that the water points are only going to have, because I see there's a question about electrolytes, they're only going to have Hydrofit. The Hydrofit powder, there's plenty powder for all water points and all race villages. For actual nutrition, you're going to have to rely on the snacks and the food.
Yeah. Live of the land, people, live of the land. Okay, so we just finalizing the GPX file, and probably by Friday or so we will send it out to you guys, and then you can do with it whatever your heart wants to do with it. There's just a question from Cindy as far as electrolytes. Unfortunately, we did not get any electrolytes, so you can use Electro Boost, which is a partner of ours, Grip Drop, whatever you want to do is take those fizzies and take your electrolytes with. Remember that Hydrofit does have electrolytes in as well, but there's no specific electrolyte tablets. And before I forget, I just, whilst Alex were talking about the route, I forgot to say one thing. So everybody that's got, gravel bikes and thin tires, just be very careful after water point 3. There's a lot of those cattle grits, and here and there, when we rode it during the tour, and last year's experience, there's a lot of guys that got snake bites and little pieces of wire in their tires, not the normal mountain bikes, but specifically the racing snakes with the gravel bikes. So just be careful after water point 3, before water point 4. Okay. So what I've decided to do is just to share with you, just about 15 or tips that I thought is, important, is, and use it, don't use it, you can decide. Most people overpack on the Munga. Less is more. Please, if you're not sure, pack your bags. I would have hoped that it's already packed and that you can see that you can't fit everything in and that you leave the stuff at home. Do not take the stuff that is too much to Bloemfontein, because you're going to find a way to throw that stuff somewhere into your chamois or your bib or somewhere and carry the stuff, only eventually to throw it away. be organized, compartmentalize your content, take photos, know where your bum cream is. Don't put your stuff all over the place. Put your bum cream in one place. Put your cables in one place. Have a cable that's charging your Garmin, tied to your bike that you just plug in and out of a power bank. Have another cable if you do, going to ride 5 days, another cable that you take to the charging stations to plug in at the charging stations, etc. Just on the charging stations, Extreme Lights has came on board. That's why we send out the Extreme Lights special. So at the race villages only, please listen carefully. At the race villages only, we will have a big power charging station, with a lot of USB points. Mark your stuff. Take a little thingy and mark with a labeler your device and cables and stuff, that people don't take yours. People don't normally do it, but just do that in any case. Another tip is, hydrate. Take enough fluids before the start of a race. I think it's really critical that you eat, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, and then you take a lot of, take 1, 2, 3 liters of electrolytes, the days are running, coming up to the Munga, but also the morning of the Munga. And a lot of people make a huge mistake and do not eat after breakfast again. And then they start the race at 12 o'clock, and they don't understand why they're getting nausea and why they, because they chow sweets and, all kinds of bars. And those things are great for you on the ride later, but it's not good for you at the start of the race. So just be very careful. And also be careful with magnesium. Don't take magnesium the morning of a race because it's going to upset your stomach. You need to take magnesium at night when you go to sleep. Don't throw in a couple of extra magnesium tablets because you're worried about cramping. If you're worried about cramping, talk to me. I'll rather give you a cramp fix, and that will sort you out. But be very careful for anything that can, upset your stomach, and sugar specifically, can dehydrate you if it lies in your stomach. Okay. Do not try anything new. We don't even have to talk about it. But yet every person, has got a new bar, a new this, a new that you want to start, on the ride. Test your stuff. A simple example, if you ride with a dynamo light, if you ride with a extreme light, or you use a power bank, check your cables. Don't go and buy a new cable and thinking because it's a new cable, you're going to just plug it in and it's going to work on the Munga. It doesn't work like that. Please check those cables, because otherwise you will not be able to charge your phone or your ear for headsets or your Garmin, whatever the case might be. Do not try anything new, okay? Eat from the land. Alex has spoken about it. I've spoken about it. Rather, carry, make the long section between water point 1 to water point 2, or from Sutherland to the Jojo tank to Dadur. Take a sandwich along. There's plastic bags. Eat something solid. Take a few potatoes, throw it in the back of your shirt. It will be much better than chowing 27 bars and whatever the case might be. Eat the solids and eat what the people give you. It will be nutritious food. This is a very controversial one, but out of experience, I've seen the difference of this. Your cleats, put your cleats back. There's a lot of people that struggle for, on rides longer than 90 minutes.
Recording stopped.
Or longer than an hour. And the bottom line is that, move your cleats completely back, because that's the only way that you can basically try and relieve the burning feet. Okay, so that's just something small that you can note. If it's cold, take surgical gloves and black garbage bags. So I cut out the garbage bag beforehand, and the reason why I'm doing it is, I take 2 of them. They fold up very, very, very small, and they don't take any space. If it's really cold, underneath between your shirt layer or your base layer and that, you put that plastic bag, your core stays warm, and that's all that matters. I take 2 pairs of surgical gloves, and the reason for that is, just put it underneath your glove, and it will make your hands a little bit warmer. if it's really cold, just stop wherever you can and ask for, checkers, normal plastic bags, and just put it around your feet and put your shoes back into the shoes. It just makes your feet quite, a bit warmer. Daryl Fox has spoken about this competing or completing. What are you doing? Are you racing or are you riding? And I think what is the most important thing, even if you finish in 5 days or you finish in 2 days, you're not racing anybody else. You're racing against, against yourself. And once you understand that you're not racing anybody else, that's the actual time that or the point in time that you're going to enjoy this ride. Don't faff. When you get through a racing village, have a plan, have a routine, eat, do whatever you need to do and get out of there. If you stop with somebody and say, we're going to stop here an hour, leave after an hour. If your buddy that you rode with is still want to faff a bit, they'll catch up to you. So don't faff at the race villages. The next point is water point and support stations. I just spoke about the routine. Don't get stuck in, don't get into conversations. Remember, you paid a lot of money to ride the Munga, and, don't waste that money by missing a cutoff because you like talking so much that you just want to talk and you don't want to ride. Don't get sucked in to the race villages or water points. People waste unbelievable time at the race villages. Then the weather, the weather actually looks quite good this year. It's still 13 odd days out, but it doesn't look like crazy hot weather. It doesn't look like crazy winds, doesn't look like rain. So I don't know what's going on, but remember, the Munga has always got something in the bag. It's just too long of a race, not to have something that will just break you in two and spit you out. So, but the bottom line is, when there's wind, the wind is for everybody. Make the wind your friend. It's don't fight the elements. It is what it is, and you signed up for this. You cannot go back at this point in time. Okay. Spoken about the wind. Respect the farmers and landowners, guys. Please, there's sheep mainly on this route. If accidentally a piece of paper falls on the ground, it's a little bit sweet. The sheep will go and chow the thing, and you will be the cause of that little scarpy's death. But please do not litter. Make sure the stuff is in your bag. This is a non-negotiable. If you just throw stuff on the ground, we will DQ you immediately. Please. Accidents happen, but we're using this land, and it's not that we can just go to the next farm. There's very limited roads. So we would really, appreciate it if you respect this farmers and the land that you're going. Don't be selfish. It's not about you. It's about the bigger cause that we're talking about. And then lastly, I know it's a few days left to the race, but, listen to everybody, but decide for yourself. I always say this, but this is really important. What works for me doesn't work for you. And you need to basically decipher what is working for you and what is not working for you. Okay. Yeah, and I think then just the last thing that I wanted to say is, this is actually about enjoyment. So, enjoy the Munga, enjoy the race, enjoy the scenery, enjoy your journey that you're going on, enjoy the experience, enjoy the suffering, and the people on the route. They are fantastic. I think it's your journey, and make the most of it. If it's 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 days, whatever the case might be, I think, people are at the stage now that everybody overthinks this so much, and, you will understand what your body is capable of when you get to this. You will go to places that you didn't think exist. And, remember, when doing the Munga, you're so consumed in the moment. You've got nothing else to do. You've got nothing else to focus or concentrate on. So, and that's when you discover, the power of your mind, your body, your spirit, God. And that's just amazing. So, embrace that and and enjoy that. And I think what is the last thing that we wanted to just share, and I'll ask Alex now if there's anything else, but you know, our race briefing is on the 26th of November. Our advice is always to travel, you know, a day earlier, that you just, you know, can calm down before the race. Registration is from 10 o'clock till 4 o'clock in Bloemfontein at the casino at Windmill. But the race briefing is at 4 o'clock sharp, and we'll probably be finished by 5:30. And yeah, then hopefully there's not a lot of you know, activities, and you can go early to bed after dinner. So I think there was a few. Is there any other questions, Alex? Anything else from your side before we go to questions and to the Equipe guys?
No, good, eh? I think it's good.
Okay.
It's a lot to
So
cover.
any other questions? So just unmute yourself if you want to ask a question, or type it, whatever is easiest.
Jack, there was a question about the little squirt bum creams in the goodie bags.
Yeah. Okay? Where is that?
There are, the question is, will there be those little lubes in the goodie? Oh, hang on, sorry, not bum cream, the lubes. Yes.
Yeah,
One,
but
I
it's
think.
only one. It's only one per person or something, one or two. I don't know how much we got, and also one or two bum creams, one or two. But you get many small little containers that you can decant, etc.
Jack,
Yes.
it's Toby here. Thanks, guys.
Hello, Toby. How are you?
Hey, guys, thank you for bringing that razzle dazzle back. You killed me.
Blowing Alex.
Thanks, Alex. I just want to ask one thing. If it's possible, guys, I can even sponsor the flag. There, close to what Alex is talking about, that one next to the railway, close to Bridgetown. It's very difficult because you know it's so close to the tar road. It's hardly pick it up. And last year, and myself and a couple of guys battled quite a lot to know exactly when it can be over. Is it possible to put a flag up there indicating that's the time we have to leave the tar road going into that section? I asked
Where
him.
is
So,
it?
Bridgetown,
Bridgetown or Loxton?
Sorry, guys.
At Bridgetown or Loxton, Toby?
Yeah, Bridgetown.
We've added it as a queue, so your GPS will tell you to turn left at that picnic spot. You know, the problem is we've tried 1 or 2 years to put a small flag there, but you know, they get nicked and some guy doesn't see them, and then we're in trouble because it was supposed to be there and it's not there. So we've marked all 4 turns as a queue, and it's a marked queue. So it's not a turn warning, it's a marked queue on your file that will tell you to turn left when you get to that point.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe just put a kind of paint, drop it on the ground there, just keep indication.
We've put our Munga boards there in the past, but you know, it's an unusual, like it's a road that slips into the picnic spot, and then it slips through the picnic spot and goes left up to the railway line. I don't know how guys miss it. I think it's pretty obvious. But you know, I suppose if you're there in the middle of the night, yeah. But now your file actually has a cue that's going to tell you, you know, razzle dazzle, left turn.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Alex.
Yeah, cool. Any other questions? You can unmute yourself. Just unmute yourself if you ask. Okay. So guys, if there's no other questions, we're just going to ask the Equipe teams to stay on. And yeah, thanks for your time, and we see you in Bloemfontein. So have a wonderful couple of days. Stay healthy and drive safe to Bloemfontein.
Thank you, cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Okay. Alex, must I just I'll just take this Equipe. I'll put the Equipe thingy on quickly. Yeah, Alex, you can talk about the basics so long, and I'll just change the route quickly.
Okay. So RV1, RV2, RV3, you will have a separate sign-in station. Last year it was just RV2, but RV1 and 3 now, because of the added solar riders, we've just separated. So your file is going to lead you to RV1, you know, the sign-in place where you'll be able to eat and sleep. So just be aware that you're not following other riders as you come into Van der Kloof Dam and you miss your turn. So be aware that coming into Van der Kloof Dam, follow your GPX to your RV where you'll see the Equipe flag, that sort of grey-blue one. The same with RV2. It's also in Bridgetown. It's a little bit past. It's at the old jail. Last year it was at the sort of bowling club, but it's now at the guest house, the jail guest house. It's an old converted jail. And then the key one is RV3 is not at Jakkelsdans. Hence your route being a couple of kilometers shorter. It's actually in the town of Loxton is where your RV will be. And then, you know, the other thing is just to understand your team leaders, how the meal vouchers work. That's an unusual one, and it's, you know, it's one that's been impossible to get perfect. We've just relied on feedback from Andre because he's, you know, the care guys have done it now 3-4 years in a row. And so really each team gets 30 vouchers. And you know, if they want more, they can purchase from us. They can also let the race village know that they might want a meal. And the reason is it's not clear when you sitting in the car driving between stops may or may not feel like a full meal, when you may or may not want to sleep. So just understand that the Equipe adventure is a very different adventure to the solo riders. Yes, you're on the same route, but it's a different adventure. Typically, our experience is the Equipe guys go out much harder than they should because they think they're only doing one stage, and they all tell us it was way harder. And then remember that you're going to be given your medallion, which you have to pass on. You're going to be given your tracker, which you have to pass on to the guy. The other thing that's you know, that's not allowed is your team vehicle is not allowed to leave Race Village 1 before Rider 1 has arrived. Now, we've had a problem in the past, as an example, where the same organization has 2 teams and 2 vehicles. And so the vehicle leaves before his rider has technically arrived because he knows he's got another team vehicle. And that has created problems. The reason that the vehicle, as per the rules, has to be at the race village until your rider arrives is because you are the repatriation mechanism for your rider if they have a mechanical. Obviously, if it's a medical problem, our medics en route will solve that and get that back. But, you know, if it's a mechanical problem, you're going to be the best vehicle to be able to get there. Now, if you've already left, you can't help your guy. So no vehicle is allowed to leave before the sort of riders arrived at the vehicle. And observe the 24-hour sort of rule as well, that if you're getting to a race village prior to the 24-hour period because you've left super early, you know, you need to let us know so we can let the race village know to expect you. We had that problem last year where vehicles went straight from Van der Kloof Dam to Bridgetown, and they arrived at Bridgetown a full 24 hours before their rider got there, simply because they had left before their rider had arrived. So yeah, the Equipe journey is a different adventure, guys, but it has certain rules, and remember, you all have to do that same leg together. But just check your meal voucher documentary to understand how that works, and then you can plan accordingly. And remember, your file is going to lead you to there anyway. Good.
So we're sending the document out later tonight or tomorrow morning. So yeah, any questions from anybody at this point?
Jack, Willie, how are you?
Fine, and you, Willie?
Very well. Is the RV also moving from Van der Kloof, or is it just the signing station that's moved?
No, so it is not going to be at Monte Kraus where the solos would just be. We're still deciding. It's either just opposite Monte Kraus, or it might be at the caravan park, but it's not going to be at the main solo race village, Willie.
Okay, thank you.
But it will be very close. Okay. The major one is, as Alex said, it's in town in Loxton. That's at a guest house, so that's a major change. And the other one is where you guys were at the bowling club. The prison is just right next to it, so it's actually very close to the old Equipe base.
Yes, yeah, it's just across or just right, well, in front of you.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, thanks, eh?
Okay. Any other questions, guys? Okay, if there's no more questions, yeah, thank you very much for your time and have a good evening. We see you all in Bloemfontein. Ciao, bye.
All right, good evening, guys. Thanks. Thanks, guys.